Good evening, everyone. Just to begin, I'd like you to just take a minute and reflect on how you may have relied on public transportation today. I'm sure some of you may have taken the BTS here or hopped on a motorcycle at some point. Regardless to say, I would be shocked if public transportation didn't in some way touch all of your lives, even just today. I don't think you can understate how important public transportation is to the lifeblood of a city. I mean, not only does it touch you on a daily basis, but it also touches the future development of the city. Think about Bangkok 10 years ago, and think about how it looks today, and think how transportation has shaped how it has changed. But I'm really most interested in how Bangkok's people fit in all of this. What is their equation with the transportation system? And more precisely, how equitable is Bangkok's transportation system? How accessible is it to everyone? How affordable is it? These are questions that I studied for my master's thesis. And I'm really thinking of transportation and transportation equity more on the social and economic side of what people call sustainability, whatever that means. Often people focus on environment, which is obviously important, but I think transportation has huge social and economic impacts on city dwellers' lives. And I'm going to be defining equity here as the distribution of resources, impacts, and opportunities. How does transport shape people's lives? What opportunities does it offer to them, or what opportunities does it prevent them from grabbing? And to study this, I did a really small scale, just a very small scale master's level survey where I talked about 300 or 400 people using Bangkok's MRT system and bus system. And just ask them basic questions, demographic questions. What is their income? Where do they live? Where are they traveling from? And what are their opinions on Bangkok's transportation system? And I was most interested in who is benefiting from these new rail systems. Is it really benefiting everybody equally throughout Bangkok? And my short answer is no. Paradoxically, I think actually the transportation system often helps people who drive cars. The government has built these huge park and ride lots for people, and it's invested money into car owners to use the transportation system versus other people. There's also the fare system, which may not seem that expensive to most of you, but if you're going round trip 40 baht each way, that's 80 baht. If you make 250, 300 baht a day, that's eating into your income pretty quickly. You also have the developers. How are they making out in all this? They're making a killing. Real estate values have skyrocketed, but the government has done a really poor job of transforming those monies and folding it back in to improve the public transportation system. The taxation system is really lacking. So you have all this, and where can we go from here? I want to try to focus on some things that we could look at in the next 5 or 10 years to guide us to maybe a more equitable system. I think to begin, we can look at congestion pricing. This is a map of London where you can see the pink area has been cordoned off. You have to if you were a driver of a private vehicle, you have to pay a higher price to enter that area. This is very politically unpopular, and even unpopular amongst my survey goers, which I was very surprised that people, even if they didn't own a car, were against this. But I think it actually has a lot of potential in Bangkok, just my opinion. We also have, I should say, new funding mechanisms. You have to think creatively about how you fund these things, because they're incredibly expensive. Just to build a couple kilometers of a new subway is astronomically expensive. So you have to start looking at things like public-private partnerships, which sounds very policy and wonky, but it's actually really important. You also have to work on the issue of bureaucracy. I'm just recently started a job working with the transport ministry here in Thailand. And so I'm kind of in the beast of the belly of the bureaucracy right now, so I'm getting a first-hand look at it. And there's something crazy like 20 different agencies that handle transportation planning in some way in Bangkok. So it shouldn't be surprising that things take 10, 20 years to be completed. I'm really interested in what this is. This is called bus rapid transit. There's actually one line of this in Bangkok, and I don't think it's been particularly successful. For a number of different reasons, which I might not have time to get into today. But you can see bus rapid transit, the idea is to kind of like mimic a rail system, but it's a bus. It has its own dedicated lane. It's supposed to come very frequently. And the main advantage of it, at least from the city's viewpoint, is it's much, much cheaper to build than a rail system. It's often like 1/10 of the price. So you can really a city that's really strapped for cash can build something like this much more easily than a heavy rail system. You can see here in Bangkok, it doesn't really come enough. So you have this beautiful lane and there's nothing there. So Bangkok has ways to go, but a lot of other cities around the world have been incredibly successful. This is a photo of Guangzhou where I was able to visit, and their system there is incredible. They have lines everywhere. They have feeder buses. They then feed into bike share systems. It's really amazing what a lot of the Chinese cities have done, and I think there's a lot of potential for something like this in Bangkok. I also think we need to think about how public participation is a part of all this. People think of urban planning as such a technocratic, like top-down thing, but I really think that including citizen voices into the process is important. This is a picture of a housing development in Bangkok that has used citizen participation quite successfully in an organization called CODI, and I think something like that can be applied to the transportation system as well. This is the map some of you may have seen of what the transportation system in Bangkok is supposed to look like in 20 years. I dream about this map. And I actually don't doubt that it's going to happen, but what shape it takes in terms of how equitable it is and how open to everyone, I think it's incredibly important. I think it's something that we all need to stop and think about. So I'm going to stop the bus here, but I'd really love to talk to you guys more about this, and it's really a passion of mine, and I think it's a very important issue that touches all of our lives. So thank you.